Yo, what's up guys? I was going around Reddit, and before I lost brain cells, I came across this post. What are some ways I can become a more consistent player? Basically, in Arena, he says some days he'll win games with a fair amount of kills, and then other days he plays like dog poop and drops points. It's not the craziest backstory, but that being said, I wanted to make this video talking about how you can be a more consistent player. Now, before I go further, I want to say two things. First, if you notice my videos got prettier, it's because they have. And then all thanks to the beautiful Mr. Orangeguy. I'm sure you all know him, but if not, then now you do. So go subscribe, show him some love if you haven't already. The second thing is I want to preface this video with my own personal opinion that I believe Fortnite is a pretty hard game to be consistent in. I've recently been playing Warzone, the Modern Warfare Battle Royale, and yes, it's super fun. I could go all day about it. Now, before you click away, I just want to point out that Modern Warfare does a lot to stray away from RNG and give more power to the players, like having their own loadout crates, the money system where you can buy shields, kill streaks, and other useful things, and there's vehicles to counter super far zones. In Fortnite, on the other hand, a good amount of your loot is RNG based, you can't buy shields or launch pads, and the only mobility are, I guess, the risky choppers, boats, and launch pads. The reason I'm comparing it to Modern Warfare is because not only are most people enjoying it more than Fortnite right now, but it shows that Fortnite can definitely do things better on their side in terms of consistency. If not in pubs, because this is a battle royale, but at least in a competitive setting. That being said, I want to emphasize again that it's hard to be a consistent player in Fortnite specifically. In Warzone, the game is designed to where consistency isn't something to always worry about, whereas in Fortnite, the odds are against you and you have to go out your way to learn how to be a consistent player. Which is probably why you're watching this video. So with that out of the way, let's just get into it. There's a lot of variables that play into your consistency, but I want to start with the main overarching factor, which is usually your mindset or your mentality. Just like thousands of other people, I'm sure you've gotten frustrated playing Fortnite to the point you perform worse. If you're saying no, you're a liar. We've all tilted to some extent, and the way Fortnite is, it can't be helped for a lot of us. But if you really want to be consistent, you really have to overcome and conquer your urge to tilt. There's so many players that I've seen and played with that are super solid, but when they make a few mistakes or die one stupid death, they start getting into their own heads and start digging their own graves. That's why I believe a big part of your ability to perform is where your head's at and how are you approaching challenges. There's a lot of ways to work on tilting, and I feel like it's different for everybody, but I can give one example where Cypher PK, he used to struggle a lot in cash cups, because just like everybody else, he would tilt in the middle of his games and start throwing, and stop taking it seriously. I know he's a content creator, but trust me, he's a super competitive guy, especially when it comes to his own self-improvement. So what he did was, he took a step back and played some cash cups, not for placement, and obviously not for money, but only to practice not tilting. He put his focus on a short-term goal that is entirely up to him to accomplish, whereas if the goal is just to win money, or place well, there's so many obstacles that are out of his control, like getting pistols out of chests or getting no shields, that if he failed, it's easy to tilt and blame things out of his control. After a few cash cups, he finally got into his groove and placed high enough to win $200. Like I said before, I'm sure there's a lot of people like that who are very capable of placing well and earning money, but are held back by their own mentality. That being said, do your best not to tilt and always try to maintain a positive and confident attitude as you play your games. Another step to take towards being more consistent is to have a practice routine or a warm-up. Fortnite is a really demanding game because you're not just aiming and shooting, you're also building. And then you're not just building, you're also editing. And then you're not just editing, on top of all that, you need good game sense and reaction time. And on top of all of that, you need a bunch of other skills. So trust me, I think I mentioned it in a video before, but I hate warming up. I think it's really boring. I know it's beneficial and I encourage people to do it, but I still think it's boring. I want to get right into the action, but I know if I do, I'm gonna get clapped. So if you're just getting on and hopping straight into these skill-based matchmaking lobbies or scrims, you're more than likely going to be off your game in one, if not all of these skills. That being said, just like practicing before a basketball game, it's important to practice before these games as well. I feel like whenever I first get on, I'm super stiff when it comes to like my builds and my edits, because I don't really move my mouse around like I do in Fortnite playing any other game. So I need to physically adjust. And also, whether you like it or not, you're going to come across people sweating oceans, and if you really want to stay consistent, you don't want to die to them and tilt and then go back to square one. Personally, I use Raider 464's warm-up maps, both the box fighting and the edit course, but I know there are plenty of other solid ones out there that you guys can find and use that you personally enjoy. And finally, I know there's a lot of variables at play when it comes to consistency, but I'll leave it off on being educated about the game. Fortnite doesn't update as much as it used to, but they seem to be updating somewhat frequently now. That being said, the map changes, weapon nerfs, and other exploits are still always being discovered, and it's important to know what's going on so you aren't caught off guard and stay ahead of everybody else. For example, right now there are so many miniguns and heavy snipers on the map because of the henchmen, and without traps, people are just hopping into each other's boxes, so it's your job to prepare accordingly based on the current meta. I personally keep an eye out on YouTube videos from people like Cypher, Jarian, ORANGEGUY, and Ryuzanami, just to name a few, as well as the Fortnite competitive subreddit to see some of the latest tricks and changes to the game. I've seen so many people use the old, "Oh dude, I get 99th place every time bro, so I'm consistent." Stop it, okay? It was funny the first time I heard it, but keep in mind, the goal is to be consistent, yes, but you still have to develop. And on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for the insane support recently on my last 2 videos. The most difficult thing about being a small creator is making content, but not having people to see it. But recently, I've been getting views every hour of every day, and even if it's just one, I just want to thank and appreciate each and every single one of you that watch, and especially those that make it this far in the video. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.